Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sweaty Casuals, brought to you by the Snowflake Sanctuary Discord server. This is the podcast where we will talk about the A to Z of the games we love to play, from the state of ranked systems to our thoughts on the newest sensations and everything in between. My name is Nox, and along with my co-host Zach, we will be your guide as we traverse Elo Hell. As a small reminder, we do swear, so viewer discretion is advised. Today, joining us, we have LordBandito.
Of course.
And TakenTacos.
Barely.
They are members and moderators within our Discord server and are by our sides as we play many of the games that we get up to during our time online, which is why they are joining us to discuss and debate questions from the internet's favorite space to shout into the void, Reddit. So tonight, these questions that we will be discussing are pulled from 3 different subreddits, r/OverwatchUniversity, r/ApexUniversity, and r/gaming. But before we get into all of that, I have prepared a little intro activity, if you will. I have Googled the top played heroes in Overwatch from December of 2023. I have the top 10 from Grandmaster, and I have the top 10 from Bronze. So I would love if we could try to guess the top 10, starting with the number 1, at least, from each category, and try to make our way down the list. So, fun fact, Sombra is not on any of these lists.
Really?
GM, I'm going to say Mauga is number 1.
He is also not on these lists right now.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
I will also say I pulled this from a website called esportstales.com, so this might be questioning in validity, but I pulled it. They seemed like they tried to try all the right things, but I thought that these looked like pretty decent guesses when I went through it. So we're still looking for the number 1 answer from Grandmaster.
Zarya or Diva, if I had to put money on it.
So Diva is on the list somewhere. Diva is the 7th most played character in Bronze. Still looking. That number 1 should be easy,
I
guys.
have no idea because
What
the
is it,
number 1
Reinhardt?
tank is Mauga. Like every tank in Mauga right now is
Reinhardt is number 6 in Bronze.
Oh, that makes sense actually.
Yeah.
Diva and Reinhardt are not found on the Grandmaster list I
Is
have.
it going to be Widowmaker?
There is no Widow on the list. I will say. So
Wait, is this number 1 anyone or just tanks?
This is anyone. So there's that too. So on the Grandmaster list, there is only two tanks on the Grandmaster list.
What is it, like Sigma and...
Sigma is number 5.
Grandmaster?
I'm questioning.
Grandmaster.
Yeah, I'm also.
I'm sorry, because every
questioning
content
all of
creator out there, the Flats, the Emongs, the CarQs, the J7s, the ML7s, every single one is complaining about the fact that Mauga is in every single match.
That's fair. I will say, at least, let's go for Bronze then, because I think Bronze has a little bit more validity.
The Rhine doesn't surprise me. The Diva doesn't surprise me. If I had to guess what other things are probably in there, I'm going to guess Kiri.
Soldier.
Soldier is number 4.
Bastion and Junkrat.
Junkrat is number 10. I'm looking for Kiri right now. Kiriko is number 6. I'm sorry, number 5. Soldier was number 4. What was the other one that was brought up?
I think it's everything brought up so
Bastion.
Bastion is not on the list.
Damn.
You're missing the top 3 still. I'll tell you.
One of
They
them
are
is
not tanks.
Moira.
Moira is number 2.
Getting closer. Getting
Mercy
closer.
might be on there.
Mercy is number 3.
Last one's probably a DPS.
Number 1.
You have 2 supports and a tank left.
Well, there is another.
Is it going to be Ana?
Ana is number 1 for both the Grandmaster and the Bronze list.
Okay. That makes sense.
What
That
about
does make
Ramatra?
sense. Ooh.
You're missing 2 original characters. They are 8 and 9.
Is it still Doomfist? I thought he was getting phased out slowly.
Nope. Doomfist was on the Grandmaster list. He was the other tank.
Was it Lucio?
Lucio's number 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're missing...
For low-level players, because he's so mechanically involved.
I know. But I used to play him on console Healbot.
See, I used to
Not
play him all the
somewhere with
time,
it.
and I had Diamond Annas saying, "You're out healing me."
Yeah. People used to recruit me when I played on console and the find your party feature was still a thing. People used to recruit me because my Lucio healing per 10 was like 12k. It was something insane like that where I would just sit on heal and I would bump it every chance I got.
And it's funny because it's a bad way to play him.
Correct, which is why I was bronze and silver.
All right.
And number 9.
Supports. Hold on. I want to figure this out.
All right.
It's an original tank. I'm just trying to think.
It's an original tank?
It's an original tank.
We guess Zarya.
We
Orisa?
Oh, it's Hog.
Battle Cattle herself, Orisa.
Really?
Yeah. I don't even play the game, and I know it.
So in
I
order,
haven't seen an Orisa in a while.
per the
I was just
website
thinking
that
like
I
a
grabbed it
bronze.
from, which I did just double check, it is December 2023. So this website either has it wrong or
They're taking their information from a month prior.
sure. So bronze from 1 to 10 is Ana, Moira, Mercy, Soldier 76, Kiriko, Reinhardt, Diva, Lucio, Orisa, and Junkrat. The
I'm just
Grandmaster
looking-
list from 1 to 10 is
According to
Ana, according to them, Ana, Soldier 76, Genji, Kiriko, Sigma, Baptiste, Sojourn, Mercy, Doomfist, and Lucio.
That sounds about right.
And that is what
I
I
question
have.
that GM list. I question that GM list heavily.
I do too. I did notice that Mauga wasn't on there.
Like that
But-
immediately is a red flag, just because like every single person is complaining about the fact that you can't. If you get in a match that doesn't have Mauga, it's because both the tanks have probably agreed that we don't want to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to actually, enjoy
Fun.
the game, have fun.
Here's my first error in this website. Mauga is not on this list anywhere. So he was not
Does-
counted in the top
does-
20 for
Does
each.
Blizzard not release like their top played?
No, they
Heroes?
stopped releasing a lot of information when they swapped to Overwatch 2. So it
Mhm.
used to be like you could go look up quite a lot of info on people and
'Cause-
info on their profiles, and now you have none of it.
Well, because Ubisoft will release a map of the highest pick versus against the highest win rate in operators for each season.
For Siege?
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's,
it was
it's like a big grid map, and it shows like their pick rate versus their win rate. and it shows
Overwatch
you
1
where they
had a
land on the map.
ton of that information that they always released, and since they moved to Overwatch 2, it's just none of it has been available.
They're going on 10 years and they still do that. It's fucking insane.
It's
I
Blizzard.
So
mean,
this
the-
website, sorry, go ahead.
Well, the other thing I was going to say was when the game came out, the top 500 board didn't work. And I forget how long it took them to actually fix it. And even now, like, I think you have to go in game to check it.
I do think that's true. This site does claim that they reused and utilized the statistics provided by Overbuff. So
Which has been broken forever, so.
So there's our problem. Well, it was a little challenging then. That's why it was an intro to
There we go.
good. Should I redo that?
Your stream cut out for a second there. That's all.
Stick. Okay. Okay. So that was fun.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Is her video behind for her audio for anyone else too? Because Zach, that will be a nightmare for you.
That's my job.
That is not your job.
I'll
It's
test
literally-
it.
If
It
the
is literally what people
cinematographer
pay me
fucks
to
up,
do.
you refilm it.
No, that is what people pay me to do. For anybody who's listening to our audio podcast or a video podcast and is unaware, I work in the film industry.
DDoS.
Anyway, is
What
it
are
that
the
bad?
other-
Dox them.
No, it's not that
Good
bad.
luck.
Clap. Okay,
Well,
Mike didn't pick it up. I thought
If
we
the
were
mic
still
doesn't
in.
pick it up, there's nothing to sync to anyway. So come on, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's not picking it up. You got
Okay,
Chris.
It's not
Anyway.
on.
picking it up at all.
You're
Anyway.
good now.
Okay, perfect. It just takes a second. I love running on Wi-Fi. Gotta love those lag spikes in the final 3 ring for Apex. Anyway, so moving into our discussions from what we pulled from Reddit, we're gonna start with a question that came from OverwatchUniversity from a user by u/bray-117.
Got a Halo fan here.
Asking the question, does it actually matter who I play as? They go on to say, not sure if this is the right sub for this, but I will ask since I'm learning something about the game. Does it actually matter who I play as? I look at the quote-unquote meta characters, but I just don't like the heroes that much and would rather play as my go-to Genji and Cassidy on DPS. Support, I would like to go with Zenyatta, and tank I'm experimenting with at the minute. Can I still do well in ranked playing who I think is cool, or is the game heavy on playing with the meta? I enjoy playing the characters I have listed, but I'm not sure if my favorites handle well in comp.
So this is a complicated answer.
Very.
It's not complicated for me. You want me to start?
No. I think the first thing is rank matters here.
Right.
It does.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Because in bronze, if you play Pharah and nobody on the enemy team can handle, it doesn't matter. Just play Pharah. Like, what are they going to do?
Nothing.
Whereas when you get into higher levels, like, yeah, counter picks have a much bigger impact. However, with that said, you also have plenty of people who one trick and immediately can find ways to get all the way up into GM top 500. So you can go either way. But if you really want to get far and you want to do it in a way that isn't, ripping your hair out, I would recommend learning other characters and learning how to play them at least somewhat well. You don't have to learn how to play the entire roster. I mean, how many characters are we at now? 36, 38? Something like that?
A few.
Many.
So enough where there's knowing every single one of their kits and really knowing them to the point where you can use them effectively is going to be too much. But if you have a few that you can go to and you have ones that complement each other, so like this user asked, Genji and Cassidy it's a pretty good mix. You have somebody who wants to be really close and in your face and has some defensive abilities, and you have one person who has ability to stop flankers and can poke from long range. So you have a nice balance there. You have things that you can swap to if you feel like you're being hard countered. The other thing I want to say, though, is this does not apply to tank anymore.
No.
I would agree.
Tank, you have to just go to hard counters.
In my opinion, skill will always trump meta because meta is just what's broken in the game. What's the easiest to abuse? Now, if you've got good skill on a hero who is meta, that's like the golden egg, right? I mean, even taking it from like a League of Legends point of view, League's a little bit different because you have a lot of items that can change how your character plays, and that's really how you counterpick in League. But if you can figure out a champion and how to play them well before anyone else can figure out how to counter them, it don't matter who you're playing. It really doesn't. If you're good at it, just get better. That sounded so dumb and so illiterate, but that makes sense, right? Like,
I think there's a point there.
I mean, you're gonna have champions that are just nerfed into the ground and that are absolutely garbage. But if you're helping out your team and you're winning,
I think Overwatch is a little bit different because it is so ability heavy, though.
Right. Siege is like that, but okay, I'll go on Siege. Siege, it matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of operators that do have similar, like gadgets. So kind of having a good team comp works, but if your team picks around you, it don't matter who you play. Because when I was playing Siege, I could get up to Plat and Diamond just playing Cav. And she's fucking useless. All she does is run around the map quiet, and then when you get lucky enough, you can expose where the entire enemy team is.
If you get lucky enough. But I played her enough that I could counter anyone, even if they countered me. It wasn't a problem. And I just knew exactly where to hide on every map because I had more knowledge. I had more map knowledge than I did operator knowledge, and that counted towards the character I was playing. So it just, your skill translates like that. I don't think meta really matters. I think it's just who's hot right now.
So I think where Overwatch differs, though, is that like you're talking about Siege. I don't know Siege as well. But you can run around, get lucky with an ability. But you say that you have the ability to counter the people that are supposed to counter you. I think that's where Overwatch is different. I think with the new generation of characters that they're releasing and how their kits do so much and can shut down so much. I know that's a problem a lot of higher level streamers are talking about, is just that the amount they release a character to counter like 3, but then this character is so broken that it doesn't matter who you're playing against them because they will continue to just destroy everyone else in the lobby. So that's why I think Overwatch is moving more towards you have to at least have a grasp on the meta characters. I'm not saying you need to go one trick Sojourn or one trick Mauga or one trick Kiriko or Yari. You don't have to like know them up, down, left, right, but you have to be able to understand them and to be able to play them a little bit in case you do need to use them. That's why I've always said, I still stick to this, and this is something that I was taught very early on when I was playing Overwatch, that you should have about 2 to 3 characters in every class or every section. Pick 2 different kinds of tanks. You could pick a Reinhardt, pick someone who doesn't play like Reinhardt. And then this user had Cassidy and Genji, which is a really great start. Can you pick another character, maybe a Junkrat, maybe another projectile base, whatever it be. Pick 3 that you like, figure out how they work. Support. I love that you play Zenyatta for this user. He's going to be not as useful all the time. Find out how to play Mercy. Find out how to play Moira. Find out how to play Kiriko. Create that base so that you can switch to more meta picks if it's needed. You don't have to stop playing your favorite characters, but understanding how those kits work so you can play with them and against them is super important in Overwatch because you're moving towards this new generation that has so many abilities that alter the game in the way some of the original characters did not when they were released.
Now, I have a follow-up question, and this is for the class. Who do you think would win? A 5-stack of one tricks or a 5-stack of people playing the meta?
I think it's so dependent. Who are the one tricks?
Right.
Who are the one tricks?
Who's the meta?
I don't know.
Not even
I
that.
was just...
Also, what's the meta? I mean,
yeah, that could change everything.
We have a lot of one tricks in our server, and I can think of our Mercer main doesn't like soldiers. Doesn't like soldiers because soldiers are really good at taking off mercies.
Right.
And soldiers been meta lately, so that's one where it's leaning one way right now, but it might lean another way completely.
There's no ban feature, huh?
No,
Fuck,
it's something that gets brought up. It gets brought up a lot, and Blizzard has made the comment that it was quote-unquote tried because they implemented a hero system. Oh gosh, when was this? This was years ago now, years and years ago. But what they would do was at the beginning of every week, they'd look at the top 3. They look at the top players or who was played the most in Overwatch League, and they'd ban, I think it was 2 people from every role. Depending on who had the most usage in Overwatch League.
2 people from every role?
Yep. And
Holy shit.
And the roster was smaller.
You don't have enough heroes to ban 6 people in a game.
Yeah, well. But it was comical because, you'd have Widow get banned one week, and all the Widow players would just stop playing.
Oh, they would ban them?
Yeah, no, like Blizzard would ban them.
That's not trying.
And then it's a way to go about it.
And then 2 months later, they were like, yeah, we're just finding less people are playing the game, so we're just going to go back to the way it was. Clearly, hero bans don't work.
Huh.
Yeah, apparently mugging people gets us too. Let's not go and do a 9 to 5. That's one way to make money. We tried it. We can't make money, so we're not going to do it anymore.
But even with the idea of hero banning from the players, let's say you load in... How many tanks are there right now? 10?
11? 12?
11 with Mauga?
I think it's 12 now.
Okay, 12. I guess it's becoming a little less hard as time goes on and we release more characters. But when this is originally brought up, if you have 10 tanks or 8 DP... Or, I'm sorry, not 8 DPS. 8 support heroes. If you ban 2 of them, your roster gets significantly smaller. It's not like League, where when you ban someone, you've got 30 others
Mm-hmm. Siege has a
And-
ban feature, and it's the best feature they've added to that game.
Yeah, but isn't that like one character from the attacker and defender on each side?
Yes, it's four bans in total.
4 total.
But
That's
I still
not-
think
I
that
mean,
could
that's
be better.
as bad as 6, though.
No, I don't. The thing is they're looking at it all wrong because they have their heroes categorized.
Yeah.
So there's 12
That's the
tanks
hard
right now.
part.
We only have 10 supports.
Okay, so you're gonna play
Right.
with 8. It's better than it used to be, but
That's still really rough. And how do you divvy out those bans? Like, because you can't just have one person ban one on each side. If you have each person ban one, then you're banning 4 supports. So now you're down to 6. And some of them are too impactful right now. I mean, we've mentioned that Kiriko Suzu is overpowered. Like, that's one that comes up a lot. And the fact that it's the only way to remove anti. If you remove that, now suddenly Ana's incredibly strong, so is Junker Queen.
See, and that's where I think Overwatch's critical flaw is in the fact that the way they design their characters is how to nerf others.
Yeah.
And so it's like basically Blizzard is just building a giant Jenga tower. And when they pull one block out, it falls over. Whereas Siege is starting to do that, and it's getting on my nerve. But they released a hero with this last season, and he counters all hard breachers. There's nothing you can do about it, and you have to sit there for like 30 seconds and wait for his ability to be done. And he has like 2 or 3 of them, and there's no way to counter it. And it's like, but the ban feature is how you counter it. You just ban them. You get them out there.
But I also disagree that Overwatch is they're creating characters to nerf. I've witnessed way more of their like creep buffing people, of like the damage that people do only gets higher. The abilities are becoming more attacking. Time to kill is lower than ever.
Right, because I think they're realizing it. You can't implement a ban feature with like what Zach was saying is like if a team bans a player, they get first pick just based off of that. And if they want to do it where you ban 6 people, you can't do that layout because it'll always fall uneven. Because you would do, like, if you have red side and blue side, right? The ban feature, the most civil way you could do it is red bans first, blue bans first, blue bans first, red bans first, red bans first, blue bans first. But if you're red team, you get 2 chances to get the upper hand and ban somebody that will throw off the game.
I also think if Blizzard just balanced the game.
I think the bigger issue is game balance.
I'm with that.
There's too many things where if you ban one thing, everything else becomes problematic.
Right.
So,
and there's no other way to counter that.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard.
So this is why I do think hero choice does matter.
Bandito, what are your thoughts? I don't think you ever got to respond to the original question.
Well, it's yeah. Thank you for noticing.
Of course.
It's more because, well, it's widely known in our circle of friends that I am now, I think it's 1 month clean of Overwatch. First, complete side note, it is the best feeling I've ever had. There's no better feeling than not having to deal with that, for lack of a better word, shit show.
Yeah, you're not scratching your scabs as much.
No, it's not nearly as bad. However, from what I remember when I played, I think it was more dependent on if you were good at certain people. Counterpicks didn't really matter if you were already good at your person. Meta, sure. I mean, certain roles definitely affected more greatly than others. Tank was a hot mess for a very long time because, they have a Malga, so they win. Well, shit. Makes it a little bit more challenging. So it depends. It depends on the situation.
I think returning back to something we originally said at the beginning of this question of like your rank matters, because I think like Zach had said, a Cassidy at bronze, if you're good at Cassidy, you're going to roll the lobby.
Yep.
Now there's characters that are easier and harder to carry on, obviously, when you play a Mercy. If you're a Mercy,
It won't
want to get really good at her. Bronze, it's a little bit harder. But at the same time, I still believe that if you're good enough, you'll climb. You'll find that utility. You'll find the teammates. But I think once you start getting up into that diamond, mid-diamond, high diamond, masters, like you have to understand and learn the meta. Because it's a meta for a reason. That's what's getting played at those ranks. That's what's dictating the game. I understand its balance as well. There's a lot of factors. But when you're at that high level and everyone's playing their character at the highest level, they're meta and they're broken for a reason. So there has to be you have to be able to play with them, around them, as them, against them.
Good example actually is like Widow, Hanzo, your snipers, Sojourn to a lesser extent. Knowing where the sniper spots are on maps is a great tool, because if Widow's in the meta, you know the places you shouldn't stand. You know the places where they're most likely to stand. So you know where you can hide.
Mm-hmm.
At lower
So that's
levels,
another one. I'm sorry.
matter. Lower levels, it doesn't matter as much. But when you start getting up there, just having that game sense, that knowledge, that will help you, even if you want to be a one-trick. Because, you know, if you love playing Reaper, for example, you know, your job is to get up close to the tank. But if your pathing is going to constantly come in front of a Widow, then knowing where she might be, or where she's likely to be, that is a huge upper hand. So,
and game sense does come into this too. There's an understanding of the game. What?
So maybe I'm just bad at the game. I don't know. I'm trying to like draw parallels between when I
know
played
you're right.
heavily.
I didn't say
They removed loot boxes and the game was no longer worth it to me. Bandito lost his choice to speak and he's been a month clean, so
it's worth it. Don't go.
But I don't know, because I feel like comparing it to Siege, it seems like we're talking a lot about which what are they, heroes? Which heroes are meta. And in Siege, you have operators that are meta, but it's not the operators that make the meta. It's their gadgets that change the strategy that's meta.
Which is Overwatch. It's the abilities that change the meta.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little bit different just because like there's certain ways that comps will play. So like Overwatch 1 was a little bit more of this, where you'd have, you know, dive was really, really big when the game pretty much first came out and for the first couple seasons. And then it dropped. And when it started to get dropped and started going towards Deathball, then Brig came out and dive was pretty much dead. And it's come back a little bit, but it tends to work better in some comps rather than others.
The only time I've really seen successful dive comps is when it's pros.
Oh, for sure, because dive comps require communication.
Yeah,
because they know.
But like Deathball has worked for a long time and probably always will work because it is an effective strat.
Yeah.
I think for me, Overwatch is very two-dimensional, whereas I see, and this is probably just me being naive and not knowing enough about it, but compared to the amount of hours I have in Siege, I see it in a different lens that is more three-dimensional, because like you were talking about the whole, if there's a Widow on the enemy team and you're a Reaper, you got to watch where you're going. And for me, that's like for Siege, it's like, oh shit, they have a bandit. We got to pick two different operators to bring before we go in, so that we know how to attack. And if we lose one of those operators, or we lose that fight against bandit trying to keep the wall reinforced, we have to completely rethink our strategy on where we're going to go in the map. Whereas Overwatch, you respawn in the exact same spots every single time on both teams until you keep moving forward.
I mean, positioning is always important in Overwatch. It's just different because there is a little bit more. You are going to respawn in the same spots.
It's a lot more teamed than it is. I feel like Siege is more one-on-one, set up back-to-back matches, in my experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, you played it a lot too, huh?
A bit. It's been a while. It's been a very long time, but when I played, it was more of a, hey, are you good at shooting people faster than they are shooting at you? Then you get to win.
Yeah, it is.
So,
I mean, that's a big part of even like Call of Duty. That is just Call of Duty.
That is
Can
Call
you
of
shoot
Duty.
faster
That is
than this
all Call
guy?
of Duty is.
Yeah.
congratulations,
exactly.
you won.
Actually,
I just feel like
Call of Duty is that, and how fast can you spam your crouch button?
Yeah, definitely
I thought that was
helps.
Battlefield.
That too.
Tomato,
yeah.
tomato.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
just don't see it like that. But Overwatch has a lot more that they have to work on, or in my opinion, for it to be more of a competitive game. I see why it's competitive, and I see where what the light is shined on it, I guess. But yeah, I feel like to me, it's just a shooter game. It don't matter who you pick. If you've got a good in the long run, if you've got a good team with good communication, there's less of that than there is good champions.
I think it's turned into a shooter game, and that's where a lot of the frustrations from the community come from, because it wasn't that.
Mhm.
Well, their league died. They don't have a pro league
They do
season
not.
at
We
all.
discussed that last week a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's not a competitive game anymore.
All right.
We're just still competing for like $1 million.
So moving on a little bit from
Yeah.
Overwatch, switching to another game that is arguably more of a shooter, in my opinion. We're moving over to r/ApexUniversity. This one does not have a user attached with it, but they submit the question of what is the optimal inventory layout?
I didn't want to mention the user
Guns.
because I feel like this is a pretty universal question. And I
Sure.
don't have to go through exactly what they had, but I'm curious what everyone else's thoughts here are.
Guns.
So there's
Okay.
an objective right and wrong answer to this. I just want to preface that before any answers are given. There's a right and wrong answer.
I don't even think I'm double digits in level, nor have I ever been double digits if they reset it like they do in Fortnite. But I will say in my short time of experience, which I'm trying to get more in because I actually enjoyed playing the other night. I'm gonna regret saying that.
Yep. Correct.
You're about to
If
get
I'm
so
liked
many
enough, I'll
Steam
start
invites.
getting a lot more messages. No, it's like for me for Fortnite, I like to have long range and short range. That's it. That's all I'm thinking about now when I play Apex.
Not your weapons. What you have in your backpack.
The backpack is a bit different, yeah.
Oh, I know Zach's answer. It's grenades.
And
I know what Nox's answer is not. Grenades.
All right. Zach, you have 10 slots. What are you filling them with?
Oh, 10 slots? Okay, so 2 of them will be ammo for one weapon, 3 will be ammo for another. That's about the amount of ammo I want to carry, regardless of how many slots I get from there on forward. Then I'd probably go stack for health, medkits, batteries, 1 for shield cells, 1 for syringes. So what am I at there? That's 9. That's 9 right there. And then my last slot, I'd probably put a grenade in. And then when I get more, I would put more grenades in there, generally.
Because that's what you spawn without a backpack is 10.
Yeah.
And then you get 12 with the level 1, you get 14 with the level 2, and you get 16 with the level 3, and then the level 4 will allow you to hold more healing items.
The only thing is, once I get more slots, I will, if I can find a Phoenix kit, I will go for that. And then the other kind of optional thing is I will give up some of those grenades. Either I'll specifically look for the thermite grenades if I'm running the Rampage, or if I'm running a Sentinel, I'll ditch some grenades for shield cells.
All right, ready for mine?
Yep, because you're not going to like mine.
All right, so if I have 10 slots, if I have no backpack, it is... Usually I will prioritize a shorter range weapon such as a shotgun or a longer range weapon such as a sniper so I can carry less ammo in the first 2 slots. Because I'll usually keep 2 stacks of sniper, 2 stacks of shotgun. So I'll probably 2 snacks for later. So those are usually what I would prefer my first 2 slots to be. I will then have 4 slots of whatever other ammo there is. Usually heavy or light. So that equals out their 60th slot, so that's 240. That's my comfortable range. I'll keep 240 for that light and heavy. Now, if I have a bigger backpack and I'm running a light and a heavy gun where I need those 60 stacks, I will get back to this. Small tangent. When I have a level 3 backpack, so the big one, the first row will be completely ammo. It will be.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what I'm running. Okay, back to the 10. So I have 2 for the first, and then I got up to 6 with my ammo. So that's 6. And then I will grab syringes, cells, bats, and medkits. I will not carry a syringe without a backpack, or I will not carry a grenade without a backpack. Once I have a backpack, if I feel good on my healing items, I will grab a thermite grenade. You will not catch me with an arc star. You will not catch me with a threat frag grenade. I will only have thermites.
You will not catch me outside.
All right.
How about that?
How about that?
Just to preface, objectively, that is the wrong answer because there is only one right answer. First, top 5 rows is all ammo. It depends on what gun you're using as your primary. So for me, it's usually a long range. So it's either going to be heavy or sniper ammo is going to be those first 3, and then whatever my backup weapon is. Then it's going to be a stack or 2, if I'm feeling frisky, of my main shield vats. I switch over only 1 stack of meds, because I won't need more than that. And then the rest of the backpack, regardless of what level it is all grenades of any kind that I will ever need. Let me tell you, if you have someone running at you and you're not sure what you're going to do, you drop 3 or 4 grenades. They don't know what to do anymore either. So your chances of survival increase tenfold.
No, we need to get you to play Fuse so you can be like, here's 10 grenades.
I've considered picking them up.
Bandito, did you know that when you're playing Fuse, you know how you can, in one slot, you can only hold 1 grenade?
Yeah.
When you're playing Fuse, you can pick up 2 thermite grenades and have them in 1 slot, and then 2 frag grenades and have them in 1 slot. So you could carry 10 grenades in your no backpack.
I need to pick up Fuse, is what I'm hearing.
And then your tactical, you have 2 cluster grenades in your wrist. So you could carry 12 technically.
I'm gonna write this down so I can save
you
that
should take notes. Take notes. It's a good one.
What are we looking at here? You said 10 slots?
You got 10 slots.
Okay. 5 for ammo. I do 2 for whatever gun I don't like that I picked up. And then 3 for whatever gun I do like I picked up. There's 5. I'll do like 2 slots for grenades. And probably like 1 or 2. I'll do like 1 healing item and 1 shield item, but I'll prioritize shields. No, I'll prioritize healing, and the reason why is because you can hold as much healing stuff as you want. If you got extra ammo, grab extra ammo, because your teammates will always have shield cells, and all you have to do is not fix your shields at all, and then someone will go, Tacos, get your shields. I don't have any more cells. And then they'll drop them for you. Isn't that
That's
fucking crazy?
That's an actual conversation we had.
That's like 11 or 12 slots with no backpack.
Okay, so
someone prioritizes healing items. It's me.
I know.
I feel a little called out.
Hey,
at one time,
you're gonna pick up conduit so you can heal your own damn shields.
That's the other thing. He doesn't understand.
Money on that game, I dare you.
He didn't.
Lost.
I'll go with C.
You can't talk back.
Fuck.
Yes,
I wouldn't have any shields, and then all of a sudden, Nox would be like, "I got you, Tacos, go in," and I would just have some shield. I was like, "Fuck it! If I die to this, I don't deserve to play. I don't deserve to win this match."
You always had shields because I was giving them to you. I was pushing my tactical so that you would actually have them.
And what did we do? We got really, really close. A lot. Some might say if I picked up shields, we would have gotten first in a couple of games.
You dug your grave. Go lay in
it. Personally, Nox, if it was me, I wouldn't let it slide.
Look, all I'm saying is this proves a point. This right here proves a point. There is a reason I prioritize healing items, because when you get into the final ring and everyone's like, I don't have shields. I don't have health. I don't have this. I don't have that. They go, I have 3 grenades though. I go, do you want some shield cells? And they go, yes. I never say I want grenades. There is never a time I'm in that last ring and I'm like, I want grenades.
Well, There are times.
But you guys always want my shield cells.
Really, I think you're thinking about it at a different angle from the rest of us, which is just the fact that you think we would drop you grenades if you needed them.
Or that we would get to the end to begin with. To use them that far.
What do you mean you didn't?
Jesus
I have
Christ.
42 hours in this game.
All I'm saying is that if you three stop being thankful that I carry all of the healing things, I'm gonna stop playing Lifeline and Conduit. I'm gonna stop.
Hey, I'm usually pretty
Good
good.
luck.
I just tell you I'm out, and then I don't expect anything.
I've gotten better.
You're less of a culprit than these
I've
two.
gotten
Oh,
better.
I know.
It was really bad in the beginning.
There was one time we were running through a game. We were trying to make a ring, and Bandito goes, "I have 6 grenades. They're my entire bottom row." I go, "We're dead. We're not getting out of here. We lose." Remember how we were just talking about Overwatch? That other team picked Mauga. We lose.
See, before I started getting more into Apex, if it was shiny, it was mine.
Yes.
I remember for the longest time, I didn't know how attachments worked or anything. I thought they were all just universal. And so I'd be running through and I'd have like 6 slots dedicated to attachments with red circles with crosses through them.
Oh, God.
And
That
then
is
I'd be
another
like,
thing
I
I'll
need a
do.
bigger backpack.
I will ditch some ammo, or I'll ditch a couple healing items when
Absolutely
the game
not.
first starts.
The
When the game
multiple
matters
attachments
before I
for the
drop
guns that
ammo.
you want.
Yes, so like particularly for like gold attachments or purple, some purple mags, usually purple mags. Like anything else, I'll kind of ignore. But you know, if I find a gold shotgun bolt and I don't have a shotgun near me, I'll grab that and hold on to it.
Can I pose a related but slightly different question to this?
Like a cousin?
Sure. When you drop in the game, what are you? Let me finish here. What are you picking up first? What are you looking for? What are you prioritizing? A stock and a mag, or a scope? What's more important to you?
A weapon. I'll be honest.
No, not the question. Not the question. You have weapons.
What am I?
You have weapons.
You have weapons.
You have weapons. What are you prioritizing? Finding a mag and a stock, or a scope?
For me, it's a scope more than anything.
Yeah.
And I would say a scope as well.
Yeah.
It's the
What the fuck did the
long
stocks do? Look cool?
They help you. You also, when like if you're doing like a long range like Spitfire, for example, so an LMG that you can shoot pretty far. If you have so this is your point that you're trying to hit, and you don't have a stock, you're gonna have to work a lot harder to keep that point in the center. Whereas if you have a stock, it'll stay more centered when you're aiming.
I played a ton of CS:GO. I do not have that issue.
Okay, it's a skill diff. Sorry.
It might be. I'm just saying. I don't. Well, you don't prioritize stock, so.
No, I would rather
It
have a
ain't a
scope.
skill issue.
I'll take my chance with the scope.
It's the mag for
Exactly.
me, and the reason why is when you hot drop, 9 times out of 10, the scope doesn't matter. They're not far enough away to make a difference. I'd much rather take a car with a stock or with a mag, or any other semi-high rate of fire gun, and have the extra ammo to always just be like, I know that I can just keep firing and not have that issue. Like, I could care less about the scope right up front.
My thing is like some of the iron sights in that game are some of the worst, and you ADS, and it's like having a BMW strapped to the top of your gun.
It sounds like someone needs to go sit in the training range and figure it out.
I will not sit in that fucking training range. Me into that shit for like 4 hours one time trying to teach me that shit where you like flick your mouse.
Tap strafing.
Yeah, you tried to teach me tap strafing, and I started picking it up, but I was like fumbling on my feet. I was like, oh, hold on. I gotta filter myself because this goes out to the public.
You're good. I bleep things for a reason.
Yeah, you might want to cut this part out. I was gonna say I tap strafe like a. This is bad.
Yeah, you should cut that.
Who are we gonna offend? They're not gonna hear this.
Actually, you know what? It'll be better if I just the entire thing.
Yes. Okay, I went and looked this up because I was curious. I have put 646 hours into Apex. It's a lot of hours. It's on Steam. But I put 646 hours, and I just had a light bulb moment like 10 hours ago in this game, in which that if I had a bigger mag than the person standing 10 feet away from me at point blank, I will kill them before they kill me, because I can fire off 5 more shots. And it took me roughly 620 hours to figure that out, which is far longer than it should have. But the mag is starting to creep up that list a little bit more of what I'm prioritizing, because the more you play, the more you get used to the irons. You don't love them, but you can play with them for a little bit before you kill them and loot them, hopefully. Probably 1 out of 10 times for us mostly. But yeah.
It's generous.
1 out of 20? We make it out of a hot drop? Look, I got a 3-person kill it in the middle of fight night the other day. I'm built different.
Hey, the game is changing for us. I mean, Bandito, you played with us last night.
Yes, much as I said before with my lack of Overwatch, my going clean, I have simply replaced it with a different poison, and have slowly picked up Apex. And to the question,
and now we have a full trio all the time.
Right? To counter the question we said earlier of either a scope or a mag and other stuff, it's wrong. It's a grenade first.
Okay.
But Bandito, that wasn't the question.
Probably move on to our last one.
Yeah. Anyway.
Before we move on, can we cut this part? And real quick, Bandito, will you flick that rest of your hair over to the other side? You look like Lord Farquaad.
No, that's staying in.
Is that a bit better for you?
Yes.
Can you tag his name on the video when it switches to when it's on both sides? It's just Lord Farquaad.
I'm gonna have to flip his name to the other side as well.
Okay.
The last frame slowly brings in the hat.
Okay. The last question we have pulled is from r/gaming. There is no body to this question, just the simple question posed, which is, what video game has the best original soundtrack, or video game series has the best original soundtrack?
Shout out to Ignite Boy 789.
Yes, thank you, Ignite Boy, for shouting into the void.
Zach, you'll definitely have an opinion on this one, so you go first.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have one. I want to wait because I have a feeling that it might actually get mentioned before I get there.
Want me to start?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Real quick, before we get into this, when we're talking about, I guess I should lean more on the mic. We are recording. Original soundtracks are songs made for the game, not Grand Theft Auto.
Correct.
No, not Grand Theft Auto. Unless there's something, maybe I haven't played enough GTA to know if there's anything.
It would not.
I don't have a list anymore.
Not count. You would think of the orchestral sounds, so your environments. The radio would not count.
I'm gonna give a fun answer that I'm not sure any of you guys would think about. I think the Minecraft soundtrack is banging. Okay, maybe Tyler would have thought about that. I know the other two didn't. That was my
first thought.
Was it really?
Yes.
Nice.
And it's still fire to this day.
Minecraft comes to mind. I really enjoy the Jedi game soundtracks. I think they're very good.
No, I really don't have a list.
Boss fights are really good. The Doom soundtrack is lit.
I don't even know why you guys. I don't even know why I joined this.
What was the other one I was thinking about? Actually, I don't want to steal this one. I'm gonna let Bandito say this one because I think it would share with him. So I'm gonna stop there.
I swear to fuck.
2 and then an honorable mention.
Okay. First, and I'll give mine if you don't name the one that I was thinking of.
Risk of Rain 2 has a phenomenal soundtrack. There are not as many as that I've heard that have the same energy that it brings to the table. It's phenomenal. Second, God of War Ragnarok or 2018 just has a guttural vibe to it that's phenomenal. You want to get angry, you listen to some God of War music. Honorable mention, Baldur's Gate 3 has some of the best music I've heard in a while. The theme of it, Down by the River, you will find yourself humming it even though you don't know the words to it. Constantly. And I know Nox hasn't gotten there yet, but there's a boss fight coming up where the main antagonist sings his own song during the fight. It is phenomenal. I haven't heard a better song come out of a game since. It is amazing. So Raphael, if anybody's curious to look it up at home.
Taco, I cannot wait for that.
Delightful.
I would agree with both of them so far. Nox really did pick a lot of the ones that I was like, yes, I go for those. I'm gonna do a couple of throwbacks here. My two main picks that I could think of: Skyrim had a phenomenal soundtrack, and then Cuphead.
Oh, that's such a good answer. That's such a good answer.
Yeah.
That does have a pretty damn good soundtrack.
That's a wonderful answer. I didn't even think about that.
Neither did I.
Yeah, no. Other than that, Nox named them all. There are some. I would say, the Call of Duty franchise as a whole has some pretty good ones back in the day.
They're iconic, yeah.
Yeah, but that's just it. They just aged with all of us, so we grew up with them, I think. Other than that, the ones where I really pay attention, I'm trying to think. Yeah. Risk of Rain was the only other one that was really good.
Zach, what do you got?
So my honorable mention is going to be the Pokemon franchise. And I Nox just rolled her eyes. However, give me a second. It's two things. One, they've created some things that, they were created on 16-bit audio. So like that in and of itself is just so difficult. I'm going to have to go look it up real quick. There's a guy on YouTube, and I'll try and include a link in the description for this in case anybody wants to check it out. But he goes through and explains how you create audio on the Game Boy and what actually goes into it. It's actually kind of incredible, especially if you have any interest in computers and how they function at like a bare level, because he goes through like exactly what the hex codes are in order to generate the noises. It's mind-boggling, especially because you think about, you hear some things in an old 16-bit system and they sound like an instrument, and they're completely different than what you might think they are. What was it? There's something only like 16, I think, actual sound effects for Pokemon cries in the original Pokemon games, and they're all just modulations. They're all slight changes on them, and some of them are exactly the same, but you don't realize it when you play the game. I think Charizard and Rhyhorn have exactly the same cry. But there are melodies, there is music in the original games that they're still using now. What is it, 24 years later? I think it'll be 25 this year. And they still sound great. And more importantly, they're not afraid. They're getting less afraid to take risks with it.
They are also getting a bit of a rise back. An important one from Black and White was Jerkvale City.
Mm-hmm.
Got really big really quickly because of one meme. If you're curious, it is the Dancing Toothless.
Yes.
That sound is a Pokemon song.
That's what that is?
Yep.
Yes.
I found the specific song for it. It is the Jerkvale City theme.
That is a great meme.
Absolutely.
Retro Gaming Mechanics Explained is the name of the YouTube channel, and I will include a link for anybody who has any interest in it, because it's a longer video and it's very, very technical, but it's really fascinating because he has some good graphics that go along with it and try and help explain it a little bit more simply. No, but like, so the battle theme, the main battle theme, they took some big liberties with in Gen 8, and they were like, we're going to go like full techno on this. We're going to dive into the British culture and do something crazy and different and interesting. I think they absolutely nailed it. I still jam out to it anytime I hear it. And then Gen 9, the newest generation, when you go in, spoilers for the newest game, if you go into Area Zero, I think the theme is phenomenal. It's trippy, it's bizarre, It's got this giant choir that comes in and out. Like it feels magical, and it really emphasizes the place. And I feel like this, particularly the music for the last 20 minutes of the main story, from when you are in Area Zero all the way through until you get to the end credits. You know, I could kind of care less for Ed Sheeran at the end, but everything through there was just phenomenally well done. I've gone out of my way to listen to some of those piano tracks. However,
go ahead. Sorry.
Hands down, my favorite game soundtrack, and it's because it's the one that I have. I've gone out of my way to download it on every single device I have. Is the Portal soundtrack.
Portal soundtrack is really good. 2 honorable mentions because I went looking for some stuff in my Spotify, and I found 2. First off, the Red Dead Redemption 2 soundtrack is fucking phenomenal.
It's a good one. Pretty damn good.
Second, one I don't know if you guys will even know of, because I've never talked about this game with anyone in this server. The Hotline Miami soundtrack.
Yes.
It's fucking fantastic.
Isn't it the same people who made Payday 2? I think
it might be.
It's a good soundtrack.
It is. It's really good.
Confirm.
I have 2 honorable mentions as well to round it off because I didn't get to give any. And I had to look. It's actually on Bandito made me fill out once. It was like a graphic where I had to fill in the category of like best game, what I want to play, like things like a bunch of categories. And I put best soundtrack. And I didn't even think about this one. I played this one back in 2016 when it first came out. It was a PlayStation exclusive for a long time. So I don't know if you guys have ever played it, but Detroit Become Humans.
Ooh.
Soundtrack is
beautiful,
phenomenal. That is an amazing soundtrack. That might be my top choice now that I remember that exists. And then my funny honorable mention from this year, because I can't get away from it on TikTok, the singing piranhas in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. They're wonderful. I like that soundtrack. Makes me happy.
As much as I'll give that game shit, I'd have to agree. It is pretty good.
I have one more honorable mention, actually, which would be The Legend of Zelda.
Yes.
It's
particularly
one that's iconic.
It is, but also like I'll say in particular, Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, because there is such a focus on the instruments, and they really do help tie the whole game together. And there's things in there like I'll start humming songs sometimes, and I'll be like, "Oh right, that is a Zelda song." Well, yes, like that's the forest melody. But there's things that like are less stand out.
You got that one locked away.
All right. To round this out,
me or him?
To round out this question, everyone go around, give your top answer. Pick one that we talked about today.
One?
Pick one.
Portal.
Portal. Mine's Detroit.
I think it will be. Go ahead, you first.
I was gonna say I will find myself listening to the Skyrim soundtrack more than often.
There's a main theme. Hold on, I have it saved because it's phenomenal.
Please don't play it. I don't want to bleep it.
I won't.
I've been playing it on my headset this whole time.
It is the God of War Ragnarok soundtrack. Their main theme song is delightful. I think it makes any of the others that I have look like nothing.
And just for fun, not I mean, even their original soundtrack is pretty good, but just the soundtrack they had in general, which I think was a little bit slept on, and the game did not get as much hype as it deserved. The Guardians of the Galaxy game was way too fucking good to die after 6 months.
I haven't actually played it myself.
It's so fucking good. The story in it is phenomenal.
For anybody who's listening to it recently after it's come out, Steam's actually got their winter sale, and I did see it was on sale.
Bandito, pick it up and play it. You will love every song on there. You have not.
By the time this comes out, the Steam sale will be over. It ends on January 4th for anyone who might stumble across this.
God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I even mentioned it.
It's a whole $15. Sucks to suck, guys.
Okay. All right.
I'm just What
do you got?
I was going to dive a little more into this. So, Zach, because you brought up The Legend of Zelda and how
the music and the instruments really draw the game.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy is like that because there's like you build up a super, right? 'Cause none of you guys have played it.
No.
Nope.
So you build up a super, and it's like when your team is down, because you can play it. I think you just played it. It's been a minute since I played it. But you play as Peter Quill, and one of the options you can do is like you call a huddle, and it like pauses the game mid battle. You all huddle around, and then he like gives like a quick little speech or something like that to really boost the morale, and then plays a song. And I'm just saying, you have not experienced true gaming until you are shooting random fucking aliens as your favorite Marvel characters to kickstart my heart.
Motley
It's
Crue
pretty
is
dope.
pretty good.
It's pretty good. Anyway.
Right.
I think we're going.
Perfect. So while we obviously love talking about video games, we all do have lives outside of this as well, which is why at the end of every podcast, we like to do a little segment where we can talk about our real world and any recommendations we have or any fun things that we've been doing. Zach, do you want to kick us off?
Oh, God. I haven't been doing nearly as much as I'd like to be doing lately. I helped my dad install some flooring. For anybody who has not had the joy of taking on a large project with a parent, don't.
Ever worked on a car with your dad? You learned that one early.
Working on a car is better.
You catch one too many wrenches to the skull and you're done.
I would happily hold the flashlight. Unfortunately, we're both at the age where we have enough knowledge on how we're supposed to do something, but we both have different ways of how we want to do it. I'm somebody who understands if I'm going to start a project, I want to make sure it gets done. I want to go. So I try and have as much stuff as I can lined up and just know that when I start, if I need something, just go get it. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Just get it done. And my dad is somebody who likes to take a lot of time and relax and
have a beer.
No, he
live
doesn't
a
drink.
little.
He doesn't drink really, so
you and my dad should do projects. You'd get shit done in a couple of hours.
Yes. So like, and there are things that would come up that would get suggested, and they'd kind of wouldn't happen so much until later on. So like the big thing that came up was we needed a pry bar. We didn't have a pry bar. My dad had been doing flooring somewhere else and had thought he had left them there. And while he was there, I said, hey, you should grab the shop vac. You're going to kick up a lot of dust. My dad lives in an old mill. And when they put in the condos there, it was done poorly enough that I know that the construction company who did that installation ended up getting sued. So I didn't really expect much when we started to pull up the carpet and started installing the flooring. And I said, pick up the shop vac. It's going to be dusty like every construction project is, and this one will probably be worse. No, we don't need it. I'm going to just use the Dyson.
Let me guess,
one of the
Dyson
handhelds
didn't make
or one
it.
of the plugins?
The Dyson still functions. It still functions fine.
Oh, good.
It's way more dust than that thing can handle.
Yeah.
So
should have got a shark.
Literally at the end of the day, he's like, "Oh, I probably should have picked up the shop vac." I'm like, "Yeah, probably."
If Shark made a shop vac, oh my god.
I think we ended up laying down. It was one box worth, so probably about maybe 6 square feet of floor in the entire day.
Oh my god.
So that's gonna be a fun one. I think that's
like
gonna be part of the continuing project this weekend.
Yeah. Bandito, what you got? What have you been up to?
So I'm a masochist by nature. So of course I go back and replay games that make me hate myself, but with a fun twist each time. Except Overwatch. I'm not going back.
Zach, when you're editing this, I will need a screenshot of that.
Really noted.
So for now, I've been going back to the new God of War series. I just finished God of War 2018 on the hardest difficulty, which sucks, by the way. Don't do it. Not worth the achievement. Don't get it. You get the story, just get the basic shit. The combat in the second one makes sense.
Out.
I started the second one, God of War Ragnarok, on the hardest difficulty. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Start at a lower level.
I need you to answer a question for me.
Shoot.
Better or worse than Halo 2 Lasso?
I think it's better. It's more forgiving. It gives you
Okay.
a lot of wiggle room.
I started it.
Halo
And
does not.
I don't want to pick that one up again.
No, don't. That entire series is more than a 10-foot pole.
Actually, sorry, it wasn't Lasso. I was just doing Legendary.
Legendary is still a pain in the ass.
Halo 2 has a rep for the Legendary, and I do want to beat it. I'm stuck in a room, and I'll figure it out eventually.
You have fun with that. I don't want to do that. I am stuck in my pride to completing all of the games on the hardest difficulty. A while back, I did the original 3, all back to back. Still not sure how I did it, but I got that shit done. So we're going through that slowly.
You should sit down and play Dark Souls on the hardest difficulty.
I was gonna say Jedi Survivor on the hardest difficulty I've done.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Jedi
that's like,
Survivor on the hardest difficulty is hard, but it is not Dark Souls.
No,
oh, really?
I played Dark Souls 2.
Any of the Jedi games are way more forgiving.
Oh, they're
it's like your mom made those games.
Yeah.
Whereas
Isn't
Dark
Dark
Souls is like
Souls,
the devil made them.
Dark Souls is like infamously hard, right?
You know how in most games you have a difficulty slider that you can change how the game feels? Dark Souls is stuck on fuck you constantly.
Yeah, and the step up from that is skullfuck.
They actively hate their fan base.
You can see in Zach's mind, he's like, am I going to have to bleep that?
No, I don't. And I know that, which is awesome.
All right, Tyler, what do you got?
What was the original? Oh.
What are you up to?
Shoot, well, it's New Year's. So I don't really remember last weekend. I remember going into work today and my ankle is rolled. Don't know how that happened. But anyway, other than that, nothing really new. Ready to get out of. I'm glad to be out of 2023. We could say that now. It's 2024. Thank God.
Going in broke.
Here's to a better year.
God, please be kind to us, 2024.
We're gonna look back and be like, "Oh God, we were so wrong."
I don't know that I have that much new going on. I had a great story. I'm trying to make this as short as possible. Anyway, my mom bought a Wrangler, and the ABS lights have been on since she bought it. And she said it was because the dealership said that it had too big of wheels, and so they didn't fit right. So it was throwing an ABS light. I called bullshit from the second. And I found out the hard way, driving home hungover. It was because the brake pads were not replaced by the dealership. And I had a mental schedule of when the brakes needed to be replaced. And it was way off, like by 80,000 miles, because when my brakes stopped working on the first, when I was driving me and my sister home, and I had to use the e-brake to park the Jeep and turn a couple of times. And when we took the wheel off, we noticed that the caliper was destroyed and that the brake pads were missing. They had been run down to a sliver of foil and had fallen off. And that's why the Jeep wasn't stopping. It's a miracle I had been driving it 60 to 80 miles a day from Tulsa back to where I live. That's one direction, 60 miles. Anyway, that's the most interesting thing that happened to me. Yeah, don't do that. Replace your brakes regularly. Do your oil changes. Put the right oil in. Don't put brake fluid in your oil.
Or hope for the best.
Don't forget your headlight fluid.
If the best is the cold release of the void, don't do the best.
Knox?
All right. To finish it off, to no one's surprise, I'm recommending books. So I have recommended Fourth Wing and Crescent City up until this point. I have not stopped my reading. I have two quick recommendations. First,
very smart.
No, this is actually not the one I'm going to recommend first. So Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross came out in late 2022 or early 2023. It's a YA fantasy novel. It teeters on adult. It's been argued both ways. It's about 300 pages, really quick read. It's a wonderful story. Fantasy world set in kind of a historical time place where they have gods that are fighting wars and they're getting all wrapped up into it. The two main characters are both journalists and they carry their typewriters around. It's fun. It's magical. Super good time. The sequel to that came out on not November 7th, January 26th, the day after Christmas. I have already tore through that. It's a wonderful duology. It's a completed story. I loved it to pieces. Zach, you're giving me an eye. You should read it. What?
December 26th?
December 26th, the day after Christmas.
You said January, so I was like, wait.
No, I was just talking about last
year. December
Okay.
26th. I was at Barnes & Noble for that big sale the day after Christmas, and I picked that one up. It's a wonderful. They're actually pretty cheap. They're both on hardcover still. Cost you about $40 to pick them both up. So definitely worth the cost. Love them both. My other recommendation is I finally picked up the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. It's the last piece of the universe I have yet to read. I have gone through Throne of Glass. I'm more than halfway after today, through Crown of Midnight. They're wonderful. I love them. I'm angry at every single character right now, though, but I think that's what makes a good book sometimes. You got to have that conflict and wondering what's actually going on. Sarah J. Maas is my queen. I love her. Everyone buy Crescent City 3 on January 30th and read it with me because it's going to be great. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for coming to my book talk.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm about halfway through my 5th of Crown. Not quite the same. We're getting there.
Similar, but not the same.
A little different.
I've been picking up a few books lately because I have like 2 or 3 people that will go unnamed that won't stop yelling at me to read the same 3 or
Definitely
so books back to back. So I picked up and read A Court of Thorns and Roses and immediately ordered the second one. As soon as I was able to.
One of us.
I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I will try and read the second one at some point.
I liked it.
I wasn't super impressed with Court of Thorns and Roses, but
He's
wrong. It seemed, not that I had the discussion, and I feels like most of my criticisms were at least fair.
There's 2 camps with that book. We love it. Cue me and Bandito. We hate it. Cue Zach. But do you want to know where those 2 parties meet?
The second
Loving the second one.
We'll get there.
We'll see.
See, y'all have been talking about books for so long now that it's gotten me thinking that maybe I'm old enough to start reading them.
Maybe.
Your elementary teachers would be proud.
What's crazy is in the 2nd grade, I was reading way above my grade. And then I was just like, oh yeah, we're good. I'm reading at a 6th grade level. But when we got to 6th grade, I was still reading at a 6th grade level. So when we got to 7th grade and I was still reading at a 6th grade level, I was like, well, you know what? Next lifetime.
If you guys want to lose all of your savings in like 2 nights, 2 trips to Barnes & Noble, the Berserk hardcovers are $50 a pop. I have the first 3 and I plan to get all of them.
Are they books or are they like graphic novels?
So it is manga, but these books are like 6 different novels all put into one giant hardcover.
Right. So it's
you're
like
getting what you're paying for.
It's phenomenal. You're definitely getting what you're paying for. They're a little expensive. I have paid more in Berserk novels than I have in any other book in my collection combined with their series.
Yeah, mine is Throne of Glass, hands down. They all heard my story about how I've purchased the title novel, the Throne of Glass book, 5 separate times now in different editions. So
See, Berserk seems like something, to an extent, I would be interested in because it sounds, for the most part, cool. And for those of you who don't know why I'm raising my voice, the people laughing do.
Yep.
All right. You guys have fun with that. But anyway.
Not American novels. Sorry.
I'm going to lose my sanity. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed our discussion today. We release these episodes weekly, but if that's not enough for you, we're often available over in the Snowflake Sanctuary Discord server. If you want to offer your own insight, have ideas for what you want to hear, or just think we sound like a cool group of people to hang out with, then click the link in the description and come hang out with us. If you are listening to us on Spotify, please come join us over on YouTube. You can see what we all look like, see our very pretty faces. If you're watching us on YouTube, take us on the go so you don't crash your car watching the stream. Come join us on Spotify. Subscribe, rate, all that good stuff. Hopefully soon on Apple Podcasts as well. Pending that as well as soon as Zach figures that out for us. Thank you as always.
I'm working on it.
Yep. Thank you again to Taco and Bandito for joining us this evening. And thank you to you for listening to us. And we hope to see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
What are we doing with both hands?
I felt extra. Bye.
This whole podcast isn't extra. Cut it before we say something we're gonna regret.
Look.
You've already said things I'm gonna have to cut.